All right, Jelena, thank you so much for receiving us here at your office in Riga. It's great to be here.
Welcome. Happy to have you here.
It's great to meet you, Jelena, but for those that have not yet had the opportunity to meet you, can you briefly tell us who you are and what you do?
I'm Jelena. I'm a manager of the clients and sales. I recently joined, have experience with the traditional banking and also fintech, so coming here to bring them Magnetiq all the value I have.
And can you share what's Magnetiq Bank's core value proposition?
Yeah, our core value is to bring traditional banks and fintechs together, so be the bridge between those two industries. Sometimes they were competing, sometimes fintechs were even kind of perceived as disruptors, but we feel that we can be this in between and help those two worlds to meet.
All right, tell me a little bit more about how do you go about doing that? How do you work with your clients and how do you work with fintechs?
So we help with the technology, with the ecosystem for the fintechs that they can come and use payment, different e-commerce solutions that they can scale their business on our technology.
All right, so you service mostly fintechs.
Yes, payment institutions, electronic money institutions, all kind of companies who kind of work with the client funds.
Yeah, we're always very happy to hear when companies like Magnetiq decide to service the SME market and the fintech market, because we know that for a long time they were a little bit neglected. They've been left on the side. We saw that disruption started with the retail side of the industry, and then it's been starting to move towards the corporate side. Now, help me understand, how is it that you are able to service that underserved part of the market, and how do you use technology to help provide services that previously other organizations were not able to provide to fintechs?
So we are rather small. That's actually also our benefit, because we can be more flexible and we can customize for the clients. So we really kind of have a unique knowledge of the risk. And usually when you talk with the fintechs and traditional bank, there is a challenge that they're not real, their business models are not understand. Traditional banks don't have a risk appetite. So we have knowledge and capacity, and what's more important, willingness to deep dive into the particular business case to understand exactly what the fintech is doing, what kind of business they're operating, where the risks are, so that to make it compliant. So we have them to be onboarded in traditional banking system to utilize also traditional rails that they can innovate with their solutions.
Right. I really like how you say that you actually have the will and the willingness to get to know the fintechs, to explore their business model, to explore and understand what it is that they do, in order to make a decision on whether you can help them out or not.
Yes, and we believe that by that we'll learn a lot, and we go to also to our central bank, we discuss, we kind of try to build that innovation together, and that they also understand this variable business models that exist on the market, that they kind of also help from their side to kind of onboard those clients.
Now, Jelena, I imagine that you work with lots of fintechs on a regular basis. Help me understand, what are the main challenges that fintechs face in getting access to financial services today?
Mostly getting kind of access to different traditional rails like SEPA, Target, Swift. They need to move money around, and the clients are very different. Some of them are considered high risk. And when you walk into the traditional bank and you try to innovate something on the blockchain and you say that you do something with crypto, sometimes it's just like a stop word. You kind of, no one actually wants to understand any more deeply what you're doing, even though there are now more and more regulation coming in this field, and there is kind of a legit way of doing things. So what we do differently, we really try to understand what they're doing, where the fund's moving, and we try to find the solution for them.
All right, Nate, let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about technology. I would like to understand, how is it that Magnetiq Bank use technology to help serve fintechs in a way that perhaps other organizations have not been able to serve them before?
We use a lot of API for the banking as a service, so you can really assess all the kind of service through the API. And especially for e-commerce, what we've been doing for a lot of years, we have developed our internal technology that can give you a very deep analysis of your conversion rates, how your kind of transactions are moving, what's stopped, etc. So we kind of, together with the clients, we're trying to understand which piece of data gives the most value, and we try to also give this data back that they can improve their processes. So APIs and internal solutions that we develop, that's the key. For sure, we check the processing data, like how the flow goes, what kind of kind of where the deals have been stopped, etc. And that's actually very important to map precisely the reason. So because it's just saying the number that its payment was abandoned, it doesn't give us a lot. And we really kind of work a lot to understand at what step, what stage, that the also client can improve their journey. And because it's all about the conversion, the client experience that we get till the payment push. So we kind of very focus on the steps to understand. And for the data, we also we try to differentiate, because also fintechs have a very different clients, so with the different needs. So we try to understand from the data, also from the transaction data, kind of where the risks could come. We have different monitoring also tools. And if we are not sure in the beginning about some stream of the client, so we kind of monitor in the beginning. We do the kind of hand-holding, so to say, and then we jointly with clients set up the filter, the criteria, and then it can go more automatically. So I would say it's combo of manual understanding and then make a right decisions rule based on data that the cooperation works.
And if we talk about trends, can you help me understand what is it that Magnetiq Bank does, specifically when it comes to regulation? And we know that regulation we're here in Europe, and we know that regulation is constantly just being released. This year we have DORA, we have MiCA, we have the AI Act. How is it that Magnetiq Bank not only stays compliant themselves, but also helps other companies that they work with be compliant in their journey and the activities that they complete with you?
Absolutely. So we think that's actually one of the unique our positioning, that we are this traditional bank with the understanding of compliance and regulation, whereas we also kind of want to be flexible and innovative. We have a joint cooperation and discussion with the clients in terms of how they get the license, what should be included, what's the things, how it works. So I would say our IML team is very much experienced, and they also kind of work together with the client to assess. And we see more and more fintech clients coming to the banks because of the regulations, because now they need to have accounts with safeguarding account that maybe before they weren't subject of the regulation, and it's now there's part of that. Like I think good examples with Lithuania, before they were kind of forced, or they could have all the funds within the central bank, and now they need to kind of have part of the funds safeguarded in commercial banks. So we see that also shift. And also with MiCA, more and more companies who will be licensed will need to have a separate safeguarding account within traditional banks. And traditional banks are not so open, not all of them are open to kind of cooperate with this kind of companies.
Now, Jelena, you're going to be on stage at Baltic Fintech Days, which is happening in less than 4 weeks. Can you give us a sneak peek of what we can expect to hear from you when you join the stage?
Yes, we're going to talk about the fintech future, like how the unleashed payments will change the world.
What a cliffhanger. And now, just one last question for you, Jelena. We see that there's a fintech movement emerging from the region, from the Baltics, and yet there's many people that have not yet had the opportunity to come and see what's boiling in this region. What would you say to them so that they can come and experience it for themselves, the vibrancy and the buzz that is driving the development of the market, especially of fintech in the Baltic region?
Yeah, I think we have a great blend of the language knowledge, plus historical knowledge of traditional banking, and plus technology. So I think it's a great ecosystem for building now fintechs here. So people very they're good with languages, they're good with technology, and they also have a lot of knowledge about the finance in general. So I think it's very good to come to see, and people are a bit hungry for the new innovation here. So they want to build something, they want to make it different, they want to put the name of their country on the map. So that's why I think it's a good place to visit and know more.
Well, Jelena, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Vilnius in just under a month.
Thank you. We'll look forward to see you all.